Hello. The internet has exploded with information in the last decade, and it can be overwhelming trying to figure it all out. In this tutorial, we'll discuss some of the main types of information that you can find online, and we'll also discuss how to recognize those different types of information.
Specifically, we will cover online books, magazines, newspapers, academic journals, trade journals, and government documents. We won't cover websites in this tutorial because they need their own tutorial. Before we start, we need to define a couple of terms: primary source and secondary source. Primary sources are original works. Some examples of primary sources are materials like art, novels, poems, original research, eyewitness accounts of events, letters, or even artifacts. Secondary sources are materials that comment on or explain original works, like movie and book reviews, explanation of events after the fact, art criticism, discussions of research, and so on. Ask your instructor if you are not sure what counts as primary and secondary sources. Here's an example of a primary source, the novel Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. And here's an example of a secondary source, a review of the novel Gone Girl. Let's start with ebooks. Simply put, an ebook is just a book in digital form. You can read these on a computer, a tablet, a cell phone, or any portable device. They cover every topic under the sun and can be both primary and secondary sources. Often, an ebook looks similar to a physical book. It might have a cover, a table of contents, publication info, and in some cases you may even have original images of the pages. Others will look and act more like PDF files. Many ebooks will have a publisher, but more and more ebooks are self-published by the authors themselves. Ebooks can be found in a variety of ways online. Sites like Project Gutenberg offer free books, while Northwest College's Hinckley Library offers students access to book databases like eBrary's Academic Complete and EBSCO ebook collections. You can also access fiction and nonfiction books through the Wyoming Library site 3M Cloud eBooks. We've all seen the magazines next to the checkout stand at the grocery store. Many of those magazines will be online as well, and some magazines are only offered online. Magazines offer a wide range of information. In general, magazines are composed of articles and images. Often, magazines deal with current events and pop culture or are devoted to one subject. Usually, magazines are designed so that the average person can understand them. Just like print versions, online magazines will be visually appealing and their websites will look professional. Online magazines share many of the same characteristics of print magazines. Some may have free content, but often charge a fee for full access. Also, magazines tend to be a national publication. Generally, magazines will have a publisher who puts them out weekly or monthly. The articles are written by journalists who are not necessarily experts in the subject of their article, and magazines' content will come from many authors. Most magazines have secondary information, although magazines may have primary source information as well. Newspapers share many characteristics with magazines. Like magazines, newspapers have a publisher. They may exist in both online and print forms. They are written by journalists who cover many subjects. They may require subscription for full content, and newspapers may have both primary and secondary information. Unlike magazines, newspapers are often published more frequently. National newspapers like the New York Times are published daily, while regional papers like the Powell Tribune are published twice a week. Newspapers also cover a wide range of subjects, but unlike many magazines, newspapers tend to focus on current events. Finally, an important point about both magazines and newspapers is that they are both reviewed and edited before they are published on the web. Most academic journals that you will work with online will be housed in a database. Databases are repositories that contain different journals. Databases may cover many topics, like Academic Search Premier or ProQuest, or they may focus more narrowly on one topic, like ABI Inform, which contains mainly business journals. Databases often require a subscription to access content. Northwest College's Hinckley Library pays these subscription fees so students can access a wide variety of good information. Academic journals often focus on one area, like English, for example. They contain articles written by experts in their field. Journals are also often peer-reviewed, which means that the articles printed have been read and okayed by other experts in the same field. This ensures high-quality information. Academic articles typically look different than articles in magazines or newspapers. An academic article will have a long descriptive title, information about the author's credentials, and an abstract or summary. An academic article will also have a reference list or works cited. And it will be mostly text with few images. The images that are present in academic articles will add important information rather than simply attracting attention. Finally, academic articles will be primary sources if the authors are presenting their own ideas and research, or secondary if the authors are commenting on someone else's ideas or research. Trade journals are related to academic journals. While academic journals publish ideas or original research from scholars to other scholars, trade journals focus their content to people working in a specific profession. Trade journals may have articles from professionals giving tips, techniques, products, or news about the field. Like other publications, trade journals will be a mixture of primary and secondary information. Trade journals will look more like a magazine than an academic journal. Some trade journals might even call themselves a magazine, but the key is that they are geared towards professionals, not a general public. These also require a subscription for full content. Finally, let's talk about government documents. The government puts many of its reports from studies or investigations online for free. These are generally easy to identify because they'll be from a .gov URL, and they might be a file that you download. These reports aren't always peer-reviewed, which means they don't undergo the same scrutiny that academic articles do. The U.S. government is the largest compiler of statistics in the world and one of the largest publishers. The research you find on a government website is often the best research on the topic. U.S. government statistics are good information for all sorts of research, and government documents are often primary sources. Here's a quick chart that compares different types of online information. Remember, if you're unsure about what type of sources your instructor wants you to use, make sure to ask. Thanks for watching. Other tutorials like this one are located on the Hinckley Library website. If you liked this one, check out Scholarly versus Popular Literature, What's the Difference? Also on the library website.